Hello students, welcome to my lecture. In this video, we'll be studying about microprocessors. We are continuing chapter 1 of class 11 computer science NCERT book. In the previous lectures, we had studied about in detail about what is a microprocessor or what are the other main components of a computer system. We have seen evolution of computers and we started with the memory, types of memory and so on. Now continuing with this chapter, today we'll be studying about microprocessor and the main characteristics or features that define any microprocessor. So when we refer or call a CPU, CPU has now been eventually being called a microprocessor because in the earlier days the size of the CPU used to be large as compared to today. Today all or most of the CPUs are present or are built on a very small chip or an integrated circuit, which is an electronic circuitry that is built on a very tiny board, and that electronic circuitry is very small in size. So we say that a CPU that is being built on a micro sized chip or a microchip is known as a microprocessor. So a central processing unit present over one microchip is known as the microprocessor. Okay, and since most of the or all of the CPUs are being built on microchips these days, so this term, the CPU or the microprocessor, is used interchangeably. Okay, so microprocessor is nothing but what you refer to as the CPU in a very small size. Now microprocessor is built using integrated circuits that consist of different elements like resistors, diodes, transistors, and they are basically made up of semiconductor materials, as we have also studied previously. Okay, now there are certain characteristics or features that define any microprocessor. The main characteristics of a microprocessor are the word size, the memory size, the number of cores, and the clock cycle. So we'll be studying these 5 features in detail. So starting with, what is the word size? Now word size refers to the maximum number of bits that can be processed or that can be used by the microprocessor at any point. So if I say that my microprocessor is a 64-bit microprocessor, it means it can process, it can take 64 bits of content, 64 bits of data, and at the same time it can process all these 64 bits. Okay, so the more the number of bits it can process at the same time, the better. But today the size or the word size has a limitation. As of now, the minimum word size that is available on computers these days is 16 bits and the maximum is 64 bits. So that is why there is a configuration of 32-bit computer or a 64-bit PC. That is actually the word size. And as we have studied in the previous lecture of units of memory, the word is nothing but a group of bits. So the size of the word determines how the CPU or how much bits, how many bits the CPU will be able to process in one go. Okay, now depending upon what is the word size, the memory size is also related. Memory size is the second feature of the microprocessor, second important characteristic. So if we have a 64-bit CPU or a 64-bit microprocessor, it will be able to have a maximum memory size of 2 raised to power 64 okay, 2 raised to power 64 bytes. Now how is that? Because see, we know that there are different system buses that we have studied previously, and there is something known as the address bus. So an address from the memory or address of a memory location has to be placed on an address bus. So the size of the word, the maximum size of the word at a point will be processed by the microprocessor. Okay, so what I mean is, the maximum address size that you can have is directly determined by the maximum word size or the word size of the CPU. So if I say that this CPU can process only 64 bits at a time, then the size of the memory, the address is limited to 64 bits. That means I will only have an address as long as 64 bits. I cannot have an address that is more than 64 bits. Okay, so the total number of memory addresses that are possible are 0 to 2 raised to power 64 minus 1. Now how is this? See, now I'll give you a simple example. When I have 4 bits, I say that for each bit there are two possible digits that I can write there, either 0 or 1. So the number of addresses or the number of combinations that can be formed are 2 raised to power 4, and these will be 0000 till 1111. Okay, now if we have 64 bits, we'll have 2 raised to power 64 combinations, and these will start from 0 and go till 2 raised to power 64 minus 1, because this value, when you say, it is 15. So in case of 2 raised to power 4, this value is ranging from 0 to 15, which is 2 raised to power 4 minus 1. Similarly, in case of 2 raised to power 64, it will vary from 0 to 2 raised to power 64 minus 1. Okay, so what I was trying to explain is that if you have a word size, say W, then the memory size is restricted, and the memory size will be 0 to 2 raised to power W minus 1. And this is because at the max, the length of any memory location address can be W bits. Okay, and what can be the possible number of combinations? That would be 2 raised to power W, which would range in this range. Okay, now coming to the third important characteristics, it is the clock speed. Now every computer has an internal clock. Now that clock generates digital signals which are also known as pulses. Okay, now why are digital signals generated? See, whenever a computer has to, or the CPU has to perform any task, it has to begin the execution of an instruction, the CPU will wait for the beginning of the clock cycle. So there is a clock, it generates some signals, and these digital signals are generated at fixed intervals. Okay, so if in 1 second 5 pulses or 5 signals are getting generated, then there are 5 starting points. For each clock pulse there will be 1 starting point, so there are 5 starting points. Okay, and at the beginning of each clock pulse, the computer can begin the execution of an instruction. Okay, so if the computer or the CPU has to perform any task or execute any instruction, it has to wait till the next clock pulse begins. So if there are n number of clock pulses being generated in 1 second, okay, so n number of instructions can be executed in 1 second. So the more or the faster the clock speed, the faster the execution of instruction by the CPU, and faster is the speed of the CPU. Okay, so that is why we say the clock speed is very important, because the speed at which the computer will execute instructions will depend upon the speed at which the clock pulses would be generated. Because if there are different clock pulses, then the CPU cannot begin from the middle of the pulse. It has to wait from for the next clock pulse to start to execute the next instruction. Okay, now coming to the last feature of the microprocessor, it is the number of core. As you know, dual core, quad core, octa-core processor, it means the number of computation units, the number of units that can perform different tasks at the same time. So if you have one person performing your task, you will be able to assign one task, and then when that task is finished, then you will be able to assign the second task to this person. But if you have two people running or working parallelly for you, so you can at the same time assign two tasks to that person, to each of the person. Each person will work on one task, and two tasks will be executed at the same time. So more amount of work can be done at the same time, in the same amount of time, right? So similarly, if a processor, specifically a microprocessor, has more number of cores, more number of tasks can be performed in a smaller or in a given amount of time. So higher the number of cores, the better. Okay, the faster the CPU. So this is a table in your NCERT book, table 1.2, that tells how the microprocessor has evolved over time. It gives some prominent examples from different eras and generation of the microprocessor, the first, second, third, fourth and fifth generation. And it also tells about the integration, the LSI, the VLSI and the SLSI. So we studied about this in the lecture Evolution of Computers. In case you have skipped that lecture or missed that lecture, please you can refer to that lecture for details of this. And so it's just an example of explaining you that how the power or capacity of a CPU microprocessor has evolved over time. So this lecture was really very important from your exam point of view and from the knowledge perspective also, because generally questions are asked on each of these characteristics. So summarizing the lecture for today, we studied that what is a microprocessor, the processor or the CPU built on a single microchip. Micro is the small sized chip, which is generally an IC, the integrated circuit, or which is a small electronic circuitry on a small board. Okay, now what are the specifications or characteristics of any microprocessor? Four main characteristics: the word size, the memory size, the clock speed and the cores. I think I said 5 characteristics initially. So there are 4 main characteristics, sorry for that. The word size determines the max number of bits that can be processed at one time by the processor. Memory size is directly representing the size of the RAM, which depends on the word size. Clock speed, as I told you, it governs the speed at which the processor will execute the instructions, because it is directly dependent on number of clock pulses generated per second. Okay, the cores it govern the amount of multitasking. Okay, so that is all for today's lecture. If you understood these concepts, if you like this video, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and please hit the bell icon so that you get the notification of our upcoming videos as well.